Pikmin for 3DS hurts me. The most controversial Arlo video in existence. Even more controversial than that one video that spawned a year-long Twitter battle with Andre from GameXplain. When the game we now know as Hey Pikmin was first announced, I had some very strong feelings about it, and I voiced those feelings in the video. Plenty of people agreed with me, and plenty of others not so much. If you've never seen it before, or you're looking for a refresher, don't bother checking my channel, for I have taken it down. You'll never get to see that video ever again, at least until someone re-uploads it, so basically whenever you have the time to go search for it. Right now, probably, if you like. So why did I do it? Have I changed my mind about the game? Does Pikmin for 3DS still hurt me? Well, it's more complicated than that. Let's talk about the opinions I expressed in that original video. Largely, I still feel the same way, but let me explain. First, I didn't think the game looked very fun, at least not more so than any of the plethora of cute little puzzle platformers out in the world. I tried to make it very clear that this was only my opinion, and that the game could be loved by every other person on the planet, acclaimed as a masterpiece of game design, and it would still just be something I wasn't into playing. This is still true. I've watched a lot of footage, and while the game looks fine, it's not interesting enough for me, personally, just me, Arlo, to spend my time on. A lot of games out there to play. And if anyone's still got a problem with that, well then I don't know what to tell you. Different people like different games. The second problem I had was that the game is a puzzle platformer and not, you know, a Pikmin game. This is a topic of much debate. Nintendo themselves said they experimented with putting Pikmin on the 3DS and couldn't quite make it work with the small screen, and I've seen some good arguments supporting this idea, though I can think of a great number of tweaks that would potentially make a 3DS Pikmin work better. Maybe I'm right and they just needed to work on it more, or maybe I'm completely wrong and it just wouldn't be feasible on the 3DS. Having a handheld Pikmin has been a dream of mine for such a long time, and at the time of the announcement, we still didn't know what the Switch was going to be. Obviously, now that we've got a super powerful handheld, and especially because we know Pikmin 4 is currently in development for it, the blow of Hey Pikmin has been softened considerably. I no longer have to worry that the game was our only chance for a handheld Pikmin and Nintendo blew it or something. However, my problem wasn't only that Hey Pikmin wasn't a full Pikmin experience, but that I feel they could have chosen a better alternative gameplay style. As someone who's passionate about the series and wants all the Pikmin-y goodness he could possibly get his hands on, an opportunity for Nintendo to deliver that goodness that doesn't pan out is disappointing. Hey Pikmin just feels like an overly simplistic take on the series, at least for a full retail title. It uses only the most basic elements, throwing different Pikmin types at different hazard types. It's a little puzzly, a little platformy, and as I expressed in my video, just not an embodiment of the things I personally like about Pikmin. I feel like there are a few other genres and gameplay types that would have come closer. Even something like a turn-based strategy game would have been able to include what I feel makes a Pikmin title so engaging. Careful planning and strategy, risk and reward, resource gathering and unit production, even exploration. A puzzle platformer is fine, it certainly works. I guess I just wished it was something more exciting, more complex, something that satisfied at least some of my own personal Pikmin craving. If I wasn't such a freak about the series, I'm sure I would have looked at Hey Pikmin and just been like, huh. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably fun. Lastly, I was angered by the simple fact that Hey Pikmin was a spin-off, and it's another situation where things are very different now, but at the time this felt like a very bad move. Nintendo went through a stretch where they just would not stop announcing spin-offs, which, as I've expressed before, would be fine as long as they were releasing mainline games as well, but at the time they weren't. These were the days of your amiibo festivals and your Federation forces and what have you. For me, Hey Pikmin was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was just so sick of all of it. And while now Nintendo's delivering the goods like crazy, I mean, I just made a whole video about how awesome they're being, back in September none of it felt right. I do stand by my opinion that falling back on so much filler when their fans were screaming for games was not exceptionally wise, and an interesting discussion point would be how all these games would have been received if announced this year instead. So now for the big question. Why did I take the video down even if my opinion on the game hasn't changed too much? Well, there are a number of reasons, but what it really boils down to is I don't think it meshed with the rest of my content. One of my main goals with this channel is to always keep things pretty positive, even when I'm being critical. I want things to stay fun and upbeat. That's what ArloStuff is all about. And if I want to be critical, I make sure I'm offering constructive criticism. If I've got a problem with a game, I want to really talk about what that problem is. Recently, I've even started a segment/series called How Would I Make It Better to complement my reviews. When I posted my reaction to Hey Pikmin, I was still pretty new to this whole YouTube thing. My channel had only recently started to grow, and I was in the process of learning what it was about, what I wanted it to be. I'd been receiving a lot of positive reinforcement and voicing critical opinions on Nintendo, as there were a lot of people out there who were feeling equally upset about the whole situation and enjoyed listening to a weird blue dude rant about stuff for 8 minutes. When I saw that trailer, I wanted to give my hot take. I wanted to put my initial feelings on the screen as they were while they were fresh. Unfortunately, this backfired. In acting so hastily, I didn't manage to express those feelings as well as I should have. The way I should have expressed them was... well, you heard all my arguments earlier in this video. That's how I should have said it. My tone was all wrong. I didn't go into enough detail. My criticisms weren't constructive enough, and I resorted to something that, I'll admit, sounded a heck of a lot like regular old complaining, and that's certainly not something I want to do on this channel. If you want to hear someone have a good old rant, you can find that sort of thing all over YouTube. But I never want to rant or complain. I want to discuss. I want to express. And sometimes what I'm expressing is disappointment or concern or maybe even a little anger. But I always want to keep sight of that line between complaining and discussing. Pikmin for 3DS Hurts Me crossed that line, and as such, it no longer belongs on this channel. The way my viewers took the video was also a bit of a problem, and while I think some reactions were unwarranted, I will take some of the blame. It didn't make sense to me that some people were so angry about my opinion, especially after I said again and again that this was just my opinion. I mean, have you ever watched a trailer for a game and not liked it, or even been a little bit mad about it because you were hoping for something different? Because the only difference is that I made a video about it. I wasn't speaking for anyone, and if I were, then I could see someone being upset about it. If I were trying to rally people together to fight a fight that only I cared about, then yeah, I hope you'd talk some sense into me. But this was just me expressing a feeling that I felt in video form, just as someone might express a feeling to a friend, or an annoyed significant other that doesn't care about video games. Like I said though, I'm not blameless. After stating that this was just my opinion, I went on to talk about Nintendo making too many spin-offs. This was a greater issue that even non-Pikmin fans were going through, and as such, it felt like the sort of thing where I was speaking for others. I turned expressing my opinion on a game into a much bigger thing, and that just fueled the flames. That made the whole video feel like a big angry letter to Nintendo, especially after I went into the whole thing about how Nintendo must think we're kids because they think we'll buy any game with our favorite characters on it, regardless of what the game is like. This, I think, was what really pushed the video over the edge and made people angry. In my slight defense, I'll say once more that this was a product of the times. After all those weird side games, it did start to feel like this was true. But now it's obvious that it's not, and it was way out of line. It was way too far. It was an oversimplification that was simply uncalled for, and if anything, that's the best reason to take the video down. Due to a lack of better judgment, a video about how I'm not interested in a certain game and how I don't think it's wise for Nintendo to release so many spin-offs so close together ended up more like a video where I complain about a game I've never even played and whine about how Nintendo won't do exactly what I want. It was overdramatic, and the overall execution was just botched from the beginning. At the end of the day, Hey Pikmin could very well end up being a great game, and I'm very happy for anyone who enjoys it, but unless Nintendo finds it in their hearts to send me a free copy or something, and that idea is pretty laughable at this point, I don't think I'll pick it up. But that's okay, because at any given time, there are a million different games on a million different platforms that I'm not picking up. That doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with them. I'm very glad to get this all cleared up though. It's been on my mind for a while. And just in case you can't find a re-upload of Pikmin for 3DS Hurts Me, there is one part of it that I would like to preserve, and that's just because it took me a long time to edit, and I think it's pretty funny. It's my reenactment of when I first realized that the trailer was for a Pikmin game, and here it is. This is Pikmin! 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 Lastly, if you're watching this and you've got a copy of the video that you want to put up, I'll ask of you this one favor. Please add a note in voice or text at the beginning of the video stating that it no longer exists on my official channel and that I've amended it in an official update, then please provide a link to this video. I would humongously appreciate it. Anyway, before we go, it's time for an Arlo update! I get a lot of questions and have a lot of stuff I want to tell my viewers, and stuff I put on Twitter only reaches a small percentage of them, so I thought I'd start doing short updates at the end of some of my videos. Today I'm answering 2 frequently asked questions. First up, will I be returning to Yooka-Laylee now that the game is getting its big patch? The answer is no. In a perfect world, I'd be able to dig into the whole thing again and see if Playtonic managed to make the game better, but the sad truth is that I just don't have the time. The review took me 300 years to complete in the first place, so I've got to move on to other things. Very sorry about that. Second, I've been getting a lot of questions about the shirt design contest, and while I can't give you an exact timeline, I'll be making a video very soon where I lay out all the finalists and ask everybody to vote. Within the next few weeks is my goal. This has been an Arlo update. Catch you next time! I really need to work on getting that animation done, huh?